It's been almost a week now since President Muhammad Buhari was in China for a state visit where both countries signed several bilateral deals. Details of the deals are now beginning to emerge. Nigeria Foreign Affairs Minister Geoffrey Onyema told journalists in Abuja that the deals extended to private sectors and would be immensely beneficial for Africa's largest economy.
There were 5 agreements. There was an agreement signed by the Minister of Trade, a framework agreement by the Minister of Aviation, Minister of Agriculture, the Minister of Science and Technology, and the Central Bank Governor. So covering all those bases, we want to really emphasize and invest in agriculture, and they are willing to partner us in that and invest to a large extent in that sector for us. Now, as I said to you, there were over 100 Nigerian business people who went on this trip. So
privately sponsored.
Yes, privately sponsored, and not by the government. Now, and of course, you know, it's important to understand when people talk about, you know, the deliverables from the visits of Mr. President, that it's also an enabler, you know, opening up and facilitating opportunities for especially the private sector, because our economic development is not going to be wholly government-driven. It can never be that. The role of government is really to provide the enabling environment, you know, and then the private sector will really take over. So in this context, we had over 100 Nigerian business people, you know, who were there, and they were able to sign a lot of very important, you know, agreements. And I could maybe, you know, give you an idea of some of the agreements just for your benefit. These are private agreements between companies, Nigerian companies and Chinese companies. You know, we had $55 million equipment in the field of a granite mining plant in Nigeria, a $1 billion agreement to be invested in the development of the Greenfield Expressway. That's Abuja, Ibadan, Lagos. You know, you had $250 million agreement that was signed for a 27-story building, commercial building. You had $2.5 billion agreement for the development of Lagos Metro Rail Transit, the Red Line project. You had an agreement for the establishment of a high-tech industrial park in Ogu. It'll be the Ogu Guangdong Free Trade Zone in Ibesha. You have a $200 million agreement, signed a contract for construction of 2 500 metric ton day float gas facilities. You had a $363 million comprehensive farm and downstream industrial park in Kogi. You have $500 million for TV broadcast equipment, $25 million for prepaid smart meters, and $50 million to help us in the agricultural sector. In the education area, they're going to raise the annual scholarships they give to Nigerians from 100 to 700 a year, scholarships they'll be giving to Nigerians. 1,000 Nigerian will be trained in vocational and technical fields. And as I mentioned, 60 million yuan for military assistance and supporting our security challenges. So it was, as I said, a very successful and very fruitful visit that has really laid the foundation for great cooperation and investment in this country from China.